February, the month of love. It's in the air, right? Everywhere you look, it's about love, it's about celebration, it's about Valentine's Day. So I always like to take this time to look at love in terms of all of the things we do in our lives. With love being in the air, what else comes along with it? It's love, it's lust, it's obligation, it's money, it's maybe a lack of love. It's all of these things that we do this time of year to prove our love, even though the rest of the year we still have love. And I think that one of the things that we don't look at enough is the love that we give to ourselves on a daily basis. And of course, I love some good self-care. A face mask, some yoga, a nice walk. All of those are some of my favorite self-care. But social media is also an act of self-care, or it can be. It can also be an act of self-harm, or just, not a good uplifting place for you. But in this video, we're going to break down ways to fall in love with social media, so that way it is an act of self-care for you. Think back to the 90s, if you were around back then. Maybe the early 2000s, sitting down with a 17 magazine, a Glamour, a Cosmopolitan, a People magazine, and you would just sit there on your couch and you would read all the celebrity gossip and you would enjoy every last little bit of that magazine because that was an act of self-care. I don't know about you, but I definitely don't do magazines anymore. I don't get any of those things delivered, but my social feed definitely acts as my lifeline to the celebrity world, the trending world, all things happening in LA, New York, and all around the world. So, how to turn your social media into an act of self-care? Let's jump in. So, in order to turn your social media into an act of self-care, we first need to eliminate the negative. So, we're going to start by going through your social feeds. Anyone who doesn't bring you inspiration, education, a reason to follow them that uplifts you, they gotta go. I'm sorry if you've been following them for a long time. I'm sorry if you went to high school with them. They're your aunt, they're your uncle. They're somebody who you're gonna see in real life. They need to go. They don't necessarily need to go so that they know they're gone, but they need to go. On Facebook, you can just unfollow people. On Instagram, you can mute them. Pretty much all the social platforms have a way so that you aren't going to see their content delivered to you every single day. And that's the best place to start. I will also say that while I love some Facebook groups, and Facebook groups can be amazing for learning and education and community, they can also be really toxic places. So if you find yourself while you're scrolling on your Facebook feed getting sucked into negative thought cycles, I'm in a lot of entrepreneur groups on Facebook that I probably shouldn't be in, where everyone's sitting there going, I hit a 10K month in 2.5 days, ask me how. I made $90,000 in Facebook groups this year. Things like that. They don't bring me any joy. They don't help me. They don't benefit me, my business, my life, any of that. So it's time for them to go. And if you have things like that, a lot of the news, politics, anything that just triggers you when you're scrolling your feed, it brings up a negative emotion. It's time to get rid of that. So go through your feeds and unfollow, block, restrict, mute people aggressively. You can always go back, you can always unmute them, you can always unrestrict them, but for your own mental well-being, for your own personal enjoyment of using social media, they've got to go. Second thing I'm going to tell you is that once you have a cleaned up feed, you might find yourself going, well, okay, but there's not a lot going on here. Or there's some stuff going on here, but I don't really feel drawn to look at my social media, which, number one, you could keep it that way if you feel like it. If you're not trying to grow a business on it, I would just say live and let go. Go live your life and don't worry about social media as much. But if you are trying to grow a business on social media, being really intentional with the people that you are following, especially on your business accounts. I always keep my business accounts separate from my personal accounts. And the reason being is that my life and business overlap a lot. When I'm engaging on social media, the way that I do it with my personal feed is going to be much different than the way that I interact on my business feed. My business feed, I want to be out there networking, making connections, talking to people, shaking hands, building up my business name on social media. Whereas in my personal life, I'm an introvert. I have no need to sit and talk to people that I went to high school with or elementary school with even that are on my feed. I'll see their stuff, I'll give it a like, and I'll just scroll on. There's a much different way to handle your personal and your business accounts. So if you're focusing on growing a business account, make sure that the people that you're following light up your feed and are there for your business. Following big creators, comedians that aren't really within your industry, that's not going to help your business page. But on your personal page, that's a great place to follow them. So make sure that whoever you are following on your personal feed is somebody that's going to lift you up. So once you've eliminated all these people from your regular feeds that you scroll, be it your business feed, your personal feed, wherever it is, you might want to fill it up with stuff that inspires you or educates you or is a great place of connection for you. So seek out those feeds and those pages that are going to bring joy to your scroll. Personally, I have my Instagram set up so that I have my business Instagram account that is filled with business connections, people in similar fields, people in my clientele demographic that I'm trying to target towards. Very strategic accounts that I follow there in order to focus around my business. So when I'm on my business account, my mind is in business. My mind is in business mode, it's in networking mode, it's in connection mode, and it's in learning mode because I follow a lot of people that I can learn from as well. But when I'm in the personal side of my Instagram feed, I'm over there and I'm watching the biggest creators just because I enjoy them. I think they're great and they make me laugh, they make me think. They bring something beautiful to my life through my Instagram feed, and that's why I'm following them. And when those accounts sometimes start to turn because people are dynamic, a person who was really inspiring to you 2 years ago might not be really inspiring to you now. So making sure that everyone that you're following is still in alignment with you. Fill your feed with things you love. And when you aren't sure what you love or what accounts to follow, start by just going to the search. When you go and you use that magnifying glass, you search on Instagram, you search on Facebook for what you're looking for in your feed, the algorithm's going to send it over to you too. You don't have to follow all of the accounts. Sometimes it's just going to the explore page and finding new accounts to connect with that way. I will tell you, I have found so many cooking accounts that I love to follow on my personal feed just from searching an ingredient that I have in my house for dinner. So fill your feed with things you love. The third thing I always recommend when you're trying to turn your social media into an act of self-care is to get off of it. Straight up, get off for a few days. If it's a weekend, if it's a week, if it's a month, just get off of it. And I realize that if you're trying to build a business on social media, you don't want to stop posting because that can be where your leads come from. Your account can be hot. You don't want it to lose that momentum that it had. So you don't have to stop posting on social media in order to get off of it for a few days. Plan a digital detox. Say, I'm going to take a long weekend. I'm going to take Friday to Monday off of social media and just reconnect with myself and figure out what I want to do when I don't have social media at my fingertips. I guarantee you it will bring you some form of clarity in the way that you use social media if you go through a full digital detox just for a few days. So look at the way you use social media, the ways that you don't need to use social media when you're off of it, and what you fill your life with when you're not scrolling Instagram or TikTok or Facebook for hours on end. There's a lot more to life than just scrolling. So what are you going to spend your time doing? And maybe that's something that you want to incorporate into your social media so that way you do it and you post it at the same time in the future. But when you are going through this digital detox, you want to make sure that if you do have a business account, it keeps going because that is important. Consistency is the most important aspect of social media. So continuing to show up in front of your audience, and you can use schedulers for that. If you're going to be gone for a weekend, a week, use a scheduler. There are so many great schedulers out there. Personally, at Soultivity Studio, we use Sched Social. They're amazing. I absolutely love them. But there's so many other great ones. I mean, Canva has one built in. Buffer, Hootsuite, Later, Planoly. There's so many out there. You can find one that even if you don't use it all the time, use it during your digital detox. You can still show up on social media without having to show up on social media. And then there's the fourth way to fall in love with social media, and that is by doing the sexiest thing there is: setting boundaries. Sorry, it's my favorite thing. Like, boundaries are such a game changer, and especially when it comes to yourself and the way you spend your time, because it's only going to make your life better. So putting boundaries around your social media use. Okay, I'm not going to use it when I first wake up in the morning. I'm going to wake up, brush my teeth, make coffee, drink my water, journal, move my body, make breakfast, and then I can check my social media. Or if that's not something you're ready to impart yet, okay, great. Well, I am going to put my phone away at 9 o'clock each night, and I'm not going to get back on it after that. Even setting tiny little boundaries where you say, okay, nope, I'm going to dinner. My phone is going to stay in my purse. My phone is going to stay in my pocket this entire time. I'm not taking it out. I'm not taking pictures with it. I'm not checking my emails. I'm not checking my social media while dinner is in place. Just when you can find little places to start setting those boundaries for yourself, you're going to find that you're able to really step back from social media and feeling so consumed by it all of the time that when you are on social media, you're going to be enjoying it, you're going to be in the moment, you're going to be present. Whereas a lot of the times we find ourselves scrolling on social media completely mindless, not paying attention to what's actually coming across our feed. And that brings me to my fifth tip for this, and that's going to be to make your feed so good that you don't want to mindlessly scroll. And that kind of goes back to the points where I said to remove any negativity and add all of the things that bring you joy and bring you excitement and happiness when you're scrolling your feeds, but just make it so good that you can't just scroll mindlessly. My personal Instagram feed is set up in such a way that, like, especially in the evening when I'm with my husband and, maybe we're watching something on TV and he's on his phone, and I'll be inclined to pick up my phone, especially if it's a commercial break or something that I don't want to watch. I'll pick up my phone and I'll start to scroll, but because I'm not listening to it with full volume, because I'm not really reading all of the subtitles that I want to be reading, I'm not going to scroll. I will stop my scroll because I don't want to miss those videos. I want to see those videos in a time and space when I'm prepared for it. So make your feed so good that you don't want to mindlessly scroll, that you want to be intentional with the time that you're taking to watch the videos, to read the posts, so that way it really does light up your day. It's a bright spot in your day instead of that dark, ominous cloud of binge scrolling that we go through. So I hope that this helps you come up with ways to make your social media a little bit more mindful, a little bit of a better place, and don't be afraid to block those family members. It's a fact of life. We're not always for all people in all ways, and they don't need to be on your social media feeds if it's not going to better your life. Better your life. That's all that matters. If they're not going to better your life on your social media feed, they gotta go. So I hope that you found this useful. There's more ways to fall in love with social media. Be sure to check out my website, soultivitystudio.com, for some great free resources for a social media detox, and then also the ebook, Social Media as Self-Care. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for taking the time. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more mindful social media content.